came the other way. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. So today we're going to talk about moving to e-commerce. We're going to talk about the monopolization, which is a hard word for me as a French person. But first I want to introduce Sampler. So Sampler helps consumer packaged good brands like these ones distribute product samples through digital means. So getting product samples to the hands of consumers the same way that you deliver impressions. So you can buy sampling at a predictable cost per sample. And so obviously, one of the big things for our brands is that if you asked any single one of our brands what made their products so special, they would tell you it's the touch, it's the feel, it's the smell, it's the look, it's the packaging. And so obviously, this changes when most consumers start ordering products like this, right? And so we hear a lot of data, and we already did tonight, about the US market. And I wanted to start by setting the stage for here in Canada. So what I did is I decided to ask our users a question. We asked 22,000 consumers from Canada the question about whether or not they had an Amazon Prime account. We did that just for you guys tonight. And so here's the data. So in Canada right now, approximately 35% of households have an Amazon Prime account. What we also see is that in certain provinces, it's as high as 39%. And if you look at the provinces where it's really high, you'll see it's a direct correlation to household income, right? What we wanted to know, too, is which categories are they buying into? We know they're buying clothes online. We have for many years. We know health and beauty has been pretty big category. But groceries at 40% plus is pretty shocking. It doesn't mean that all of them are buying all the time their groceries online, but it definitely means that they are buying some grocery items online. So how do we fight back, right? How do we, as brands, as retailers, how do we go towards and fight back on this big change? So I don't have all the answers, but what I wanted to share were some of the big thoughts that I've been thinking about for our brands over the last little bit. So the first one is, we've all seen this, right? Retail is not boring. It's boring retail that's not what I meant to say. Retail is not dead, but boring retail is dead. And it's very true, and I wanted to share some examples with you. So this one I really liked, right? Like when you buy your Nike shoes, like you're really buying them for your next run or like for your next class. And so Nike brought the treadmill to the change room. It's a very, very simple investment. Very little investment, but it makes such a difference. All of a sudden, I get to try them while I'm running instead of just walking awkwardly towards the thing when the two shoes are stuck together. So the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and for all the tech companies here today, is we do a lot of work with L'Oreal, and I'm not sure if you saw, but just recently they bought an AR company that was based out of Toronto called ModiFace. ModiFace allows you to try on your hair dye or to try on your makeup before you buy it. And it's all about that experience. And that's a consumer packaged good company buying a technology company. So clearly delivering these physical experiences to digital is going to be something we're going to all have to think about a lot. The other thing is all these partnerships. We just heard about one from David's Tea, but everybody's partnering. And so you should be bringing your customers really, really great initiatives around partnerships. One of the most shocking ones for me lately was Lord & Taylor and Walmart. That was kind of interesting that Lord & Taylor would choose Walmart as an e-commerce partner, right? Seems like, different customers, but really awesome to see. We also saw Kroger partnering with Ocado, which is a UK-based e-commerce fulfillment partner for them that is now in the US managing their e-commerce fulfillment. So partnering is going to be really key. Personalized convenience. We talked about personalized, but also we talk a lot about subscription. But one of the good examples I really liked lately was Boxed. Who's familiar with Boxed? so basically they brought Costco to the digital world, right? So limited assortment for retail, and basically you can buy your products in bulk. What was really cool is when it comes to bulk buying, you get really nervous about, like, am I buying too much of those like brand new crackers I just discovered, right? And so what they help you do is they help you tell you when you should reorder it. Instead of being like the same every month, they ping you and say, oh, it's time for a refill for everybody. They personalize it on the size of your family, the amount of units that you bought in your last grocery cart, and it's about personalized convenience. So you feel less wary about buying in bulk. And the last thought I'm going to share, I know I've run out of time a long time ago, and this one is not mine, but it was from a podcast that I really like that you should all take a look at, which is Retail Profit, Toronto-based guy. He's introduced this idea around starting with free. If all of us were giving our product out for free, which I do really well, I give out products out for free, but if all of us were giving out our product for free, what would our customers be buying from our brand, right? Would they be buying the lifestyle? Would they be buying the experience? And that's really what a lot of different companies are starting to think about. So Nordstrom, for example, has developed this store where you can go pick up your shipment. They hold zero inventory into their store. You can go pick up your shipment, and there they give you the tailor, they give you the experience, they talk to you about your product the same way they do in store, but they didn't ship it to that store until you actually needed it. And that makes the whole difference in their operational procedures and their cost. Another great example is Organic Valley, amazing milk. It's at a higher price point. You probably wouldn't try it unless you were actually having a coffee. And so they brought the coffee store to you. They know that their store, they know that their customer is more of like the artisan coffee type. So they developed that store. That was a pop-up store in New York. So just a few thoughts to get you thinking. Excited to meet all of you. I hope that was helpful, and stay in touch.
Marie, there's an exciting thing that's happening in October called Retail Tomorrow, and we're doing something with TechTO. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
For sure. So I'm super passionate about what's happening in retail here in Toronto. There are so many amazing startups and technologies that all of us should be leveraging that are being built right here. And so I hooked up with the National Retail Federation and the General Merchandise Development Center, which are US-based retailer trade associations. And I told them they had to come to Toronto. And in October 1st to October 5th, we are hosting an entire week of content where they'll be actually visiting major startups like Tulip Retail, Shopify. They'll be stopping by all of those different startups. But also on October 4th, we'll be hosting a community event where all of you can meet these major executives from these massive retailers and pitch your ideas, your technology, and it's all happening here, and TechTO will be hosting that event. So stay tuned for details.
Yeah, so it's October 4th here at Mars. At what time?
9:30 a.m. for coffee, and 10 the content starts. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the panel. So I want to ask everyone, all the panelists, to come up and join me for a bit of a Q&A.